Live. We are live.
We are live.
Whoop, whoop.
All right, let me open up Facebook here. So, have you guys seen the new Facebook layout?
I hate it.
I changed it back to the old one.
I changed it back extremely quick also.
Yeah, it took me like 20 seconds to go back.
Yeah, when it first loaded, I'm like, I thought I was almost on Messenger at first. Like, if you go to messenger.com, it almost looked like that. And I'm like, why am I on Messenger? Went back to Facebook, it loaded that again. I was like, I'm not doing this.
No, thank you. Good morning, Patty.
It looked like you were on a tablet. If I wanted to use Facebook on a tablet, I'd go get my iPad. Good morning. Good morning.
Morning. All right, people are rolling in.
I'm not seeing Patty.
Man, I think I'm friends with her. That's why it says that she's watching with me. Morning.
Yeah, I see you.
Man, my allergies are so bad today.
Sammy's on.
Good morning, Steve.
Something in the air. Good morning, Steve.
No, I do not have an answer yet, and it is driving me crazy. Last night it was real funny. The realtor is very good friends with my family, and I went back over to my mom's house yesterday evening, and when you pull into her neighborhood, you can kind of like see their place, and it was raining out, and I'm assuming it's probably another showing because there's people there, like out on the back deck looking at the backyard, and they went back inside, and I got to my mom's house. I was like, hey, there's someone with their wet shoes on my new hardwood floors over there.
Angie, Alice, Lewis, good morning. Teresa, Buenos Dias. No, hablo un poco de español. All right, that's about as much Spanish as I know.
I can speak Japanese.
Can you?
I sure can. I lived there 2 years on a mission.
Okay.
So we're at Sheila's house too. Do you wear shoes in your house, Jacob?
No.
No. Good.
Do you wear? I mean, if I'm just like running into the kitchen from outside to get something, I will because it's all hardwood floors through there. But other than that, like I walk in, shoes come off. Yes, Corey, I know it's you now. He messaged me last night, and I was like, that Lewis CG, his real name's Corey. This is his other account. And he messaged me, and I'm sitting here staring at his name, and I was like half asleep already and staring at his name like, I feel like I know this person by what we're talking about, but I cannot remember. This is not his Facebook name. Let's see.
We'll give it a few more minutes for people to pop on. Nice shirt, Barton. Awesome shirt. Claim it. Proud to be awesome.
My kids gave me this because that's my word.
It is.
You are awesome. Do you have a word, Jacob? I don't think you have a word. How about you, Neil?
I don't know, man. I think the shirt I wear most is "Have You Tried Trying" that I wore the other day.
Yeah.
I wore that to the gym all the time. It's full of paint. So we've been renovating our house. It's completely full of paint now. I need to buy a new one, but that's my thing.
I don't know what Steve's talking about here.
Morning, Melissa.
You walk in, shoes
James.
come off.
Great step by step video yesterday. Thank you, James. Jacob, did you end up putting that on YouTube or no?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's on there.
I still have to chop that up today because I'm going to write about it. For people who don't like video, apparently.
Right now, I can make it public. Right now, I was going to wait till the 2 weeks were over before I made it public.
Okay. Fabulous Power. Hello. Morning, Cameron. Britt. Morning.
We'll give people 2 minutes here. 11:10. We'll get rocking and rolling.
Patty, no, that shirt came from. I was talking to, I think it was Jay Bain, like years ago, and he was complaining about something, and I was like, well, have you tried trying? And he thought that was just no. I said that in a live video. as like a one-off comment. He thought that was hilarious, so he put it on a shirt and sends me the link, and I like instantly bought it.
That is
Someone that knows how to make those.
What was that?
I know someone that knows how to make those.
Absolutely.
what's a t-shirt design?
I don't know. I hear there's this cool thing called print on demand.
Can you
it's all the
inform
rage
us,
these days.
Can you inform us on everything you know about it today?
Today, that'd be a long day, man.
10 minutes, go.
Yep. No, but phone cases are awesome too.
They are.
I've been having some fun with those.
They're selling pretty well for me
Mhm.
for like the designs that I've used on pop sockets.
Yes, very similar theme, just bigger.
Yeah. So before we kick it off, we'll just let everyone hop on here. What are your plans for the weekend? Anyone? What are you guys doing while we wait for chat?
Hopefully we get this house. That's my plans. Hopefully I don't have to wait until after this open house on Sunday.
Bart, what about you?
Camping. I'm just going to be working here. I don't go camping anymore after deployments. I'm done with camping.
What's wrong with camping?
Oh, to be honest, I'm just always on guard. It's not even fun. I'm waiting.
All right, that's that's fair. Man,
You
I
got
would
to
love to
think
go.
he had to camp in a desert for not pleasure for a very long time.
Yeah, that's fair.
It was all about survival.
That is fair.
Hey, while they're coming on, and just before we get kicked off, for those of you that are listening, so I encourage Jacob to open it up for more people. Here's what I want to say to all of you that are on right now, and anyone that watches this replay. One, we're not going to go back on anything that we've already covered. So if you're coming in late and you miss something, it's up to you to go back and watch it. We're not going to cover it again. And number two, just because this is free, please take advantage of it. People tend to not take advantage of free things. If you were to pay for this, you'd probably pay up to $100. Jacob is awesome. Jacob wants to give you everything for free. It's amazing. Sometimes I'll say, why don't we have him pay for this? And he'll say, no, I just want to give it to him. So Jacob's a good man. Take advantage of that, but don't take advantage of free. Make sure that you use everything that you're taught by Neil and Jacob.
Get some books up, make some sales.
Let's see here. Patty says, weekend, you guys are standing us up. Thought we'd be with you. We'll be here.
I'll be here.
We will be here. So, yeah, we're not going anywhere. We'll be here for, I don't know, 8 more days, 9 more days, something. So let's go ahead and kick off today. Enough chit chat there. And let's see here. Hang on. Alrighty. So today we're talking about interiors. I actually have some pulled up here. It's kind of along the same lines as yesterday, but we'll also be going over some different ways to create them. I know BookBolt has its own way. You can use something like Google Slides. You can end up using something like PowerPoint. You could use Photoshop. You can use InDesign. There's 1,000 different ways out there to create interiors. Literally, there's thousands of programs, thousands of softwares, thousands of places to get them. So you have to, decide, do you want to buy them or create them? I hate making interiors. That's why we have the Page Planet, and that's why we have VAs, because it's part of the process I do not enjoy. I would rather design covers than do that. It's just tedious. It's making sure all of the margins are right and your text is good and your colors look good and it's laid out properly, and there's a lot to it. I can pull out a good interior, I can pull out a bad interior, but I just don't like going through the process of actually creating one. So there's a few different things here. Let's go ahead and start sharing my screen here. Oh, not like that.
Pull up your screen. Let me just say, if anyone is on here that is the subscriber of the Get 6 Interiors from the Page Planet, those will be coming today. I have them and I'll be sending them out.
So Here we are. So I have a few different books here. I typed in journals on Amazon. Anxiety, gratitude, self-care were the first things that came back. So I went through and I kind of started, okay, what's the best looking one or what's a good looking one that I can find? And then I went to, okay, what's a okay one, what's a mediocre one, and then what is a bad one here. So we look at this, no worries. It's a journal to write in, and first they have anxiety somewhere in their listing, probably in their back-end keywords, and that is what they're ranking for. So when you look at something like this and open it up, well, you'll see here, okay, kind of a funky looking cover. We scroll down and it is just lines. So this is not like a guided journal or anything. This is just going to be your lines. You write whatever you want in it. There's no help. There's no guidance, nothing at all. And these can work. But then we move up to this one here. The cover is still kind of awkward looking. Journal. It's an elegant, just tracks triggers, symptoms, methods, as you can see here. It doesn't have a rank yet. I did sorted by new arrivals just so I could try to pick out some bad apples. Otherwise, all of the first few pages are all good sellers. So we come down through here. They have a little copyright page here. I would honestly make this smaller. So I would shrink this text down here and make it real nice and small at the bottom. And then I would turn this into a cover page. Or
honestly, Jacob, I would not even put that on the front page.
No.
I mean, as a customer, let's say I get this in the mail, right? I open it up and I'm like excited for my new book, and I notice, well, this is a wasted page. Like, yeah, the copyright 2020, that's probably a big flag for sellers, people like us, right? They put that up so that we don't go and do their same layout. But it literally serves zero purpose for the customer that's buying the book.
That, and also remember when you're creating in your interior. So this is going to be your cover. Okay, here, let me see if I can zoom out here. Sometimes Amazon likes to go real wonky when you try to zoom. All right, so with this, okay, you have your cover here. This will be page 1. Okay, so that'll be the front side of the page. They're starting this book on page 2. Okay, so this will be the back side of the first page. When you open the book, this will be on the back side. So they're telling you, because they have this in here, this is going to start on the back of a page. I do not want to use a workbook that I am starting on the back of the page. It feels really, really awkward. Okay, it feels really weird. It doesn't look right. So they could have put this snippet on this page. Okay, and then done a proper cover letter, opening page here, cover page here, and then this would have started on page 3. Okay, this should have started on page 3, so they are not starting on the back of a page. And then we scroll down through here, and you can see it's better than the first one. It has a little bit of guidance here, but still very basic. Okay, and then if we go on to, did you have something you wanted to say, Neil?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Just make sure. So we can move on to the next one. You can see, okay, the cover is starting to get better here. It's, it's starting to feel a little bit more personal and a little more personalized. So you open this up here and they just jump right in. And again, it is just the same page over and over, which is fine in certain instances. You can see they're getting a little bit more detailed here with it. They have a little bit of a background behind it. Their text choices are a little bit better. They have it broken down into boxes. One thing I'll say here is that this line in this is driving me nuts because it's not centered here. It's in between these two. Just little things, which isn't going to kill you. I also would have brought this box out to line up properly. But that's just me. And then also this date box goes past this line. So just like make sure your guides and everything are, set and you're making everything kind of even across the page. So this is a lot better though, a better text, graphics in the background. I know they're really hard to see, but some graphics in the background, laid out nicely, a little bit more guided. And then you get to something like this. So you can see here, 954 ratings, 954 reviews. We'll take a look at those in a second, see if we can find anything. So we take a look in here. Again, fonts are getting better. better looking cover. They have an actual page in here, an introduction, and then this one is in color. But you can see how they start really laying this out and giving people a lot of custom content here. And they start giving you, and I know this is in color, I wouldn't do it in color, but they start giving you actual guided prompts and sayings and different things that will actually help you and let you work through certain things when you use this book. It'll create a better user experience using this book. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at reviews. The next thing I always like to do is I always like to make sure, this goes back to research as well, I always like to make sure I look at reviews if they have them, for the simple fact that you're going to find people, if they don't like something, you might find someone. So this one here, when I opened the book, it was literally printed upside down and backwards as a scene and attached to photos. So nothing you can really do about that. The pages are coming apart where they are glued. Again, can't do anything about that. Too small of a book. Thought it was a 8 by 11. So maybe you can do a larger size. Not what I was looking for. This book is pretty stupid. Feels like busy work than a journal to help me slow down. Too much. Not much worth this. Okay. Let's see. Let's go to 2-star reviews. So 2-star reviews. Let's see. This just isn't for me. Okay, can you tell us why? The idea of this journal is great. It's made very well, very pretty and cute, but there's not much to the actual journaling. Not deep enough questions or follow up. I completed this thing in a couple weeks. I've been using it, getting the hang of it, and learning positivity. If you've been using it and you're learning, why did you give it a 2-star review? Boring.
Basic.
Yeah, basic. So then what you can do is, what I would personally do here is I would go back and I would look for more complex interiors, look for different segments. What do people actually want here? Okay, that's something you have to try to determine, is what do people actually want? Because apparently, sure, this book's selling well, and you know, you always look at the positive rather than the negative when you're selling books. You know, oh, this book is selling well, so okay, I can do some of the things in this, but what other sections could you add to make it a little bit more detailed? What other areas or questions or follow-ups could you add to make it, you know, more helpful rather than busy work? Obviously, there's a lot of people that like this book, so they're doing something right here, but what is it that people, you know, the people that do feel like they're missing something, what is it they feel they're missing? And that's what you have to try to figure out. Did you want me to pull up that book you messaged, Neil?
Well, you could. I mean, I just found it and I thought it was hilarious.
All right. Okay, this has some vulgar language in it, so just be prepared. Let's do this here. All right, so here we are.
So I'm not saying that you should go out and do a coronavirus book, right? But this basically just goes to show you, and this also has another one of those like copyright pages, right? So I don't know if I would put a copyright page in one of these coloring books. This person did, but yeah, notice that they have an introduction page. That's basically what I want to show you guys. Introduction pages for books, it doesn't need to necessarily be a low content intro page. Sometimes it can be something like this, right? Like this is going to be a little bit more content, but it's basically going to make your book feel more finished.
Okay, let's see here. So, and also something I'm not really understanding here is, okay, you have your book, you have your copyright page, then you have a coloring page to do, and then a blank page, and then a whole bunch of sample pages, and then an introduction page, and then a blank page, and then you get back to, okay, now we can actually start coloring. Okay, very, very weird starting layout here.
It looks like every back page is actually blank.
Yes, it is, which is perfectly fine for the simple fact that it is a coloring page. So, you know, people do that to try to prevent bleed through. Also, something else I like to do is put actually like patterns on the backside of pages to make it feel a little bit more filled.
Check out that sales rank. Holy hell.
Oh yeah, it's crushing it. It is absolutely crushing it. So yeah, I mean it's doing very well. Let's see if there is any negative reviews. None of the funny sayings about the virus are in the book. Not one.
Now, again, guys, we're not telling you to go make coronavirus books. I literally was just looking for an example for something I want to show you guys later. Thought this was hilarious. The messages to Jacob, because we're talking about intro pages. The way they laid out their intro page was interesting. The way that they laid out their interior, which they didn't even get to the intro page for like 3 or 4 pages. Something else to keep in mind. So while we're not telling you to go create coronavirus books, okay, I want to make that very clear. We're just looking at what is in there.
And also, the reviews say that this book has nothing to do with coronavirus. Like nothing, none of the sample pieces are actually, or I don't know what people were talking about, but none of these sample pages were actually like within the book. So I wouldn't do that either. So let's go ahead. And let's go ahead and start talking. Neil, do you want to talk about the BookBolt interior designer first?
No, let's do the other way around because there's something I want to show you guys that I'm going to do over here while you're talking, while you create some, and then we can get to that.
Neil and Jacob, we talked about it a few days ago, but I think it's applicable here. I'm understanding that you would actually recommend this book belongs to as kind of the intro page.
Some type of page that welcomes them to the book and makes them feel like, okay, this book is mine. Okay, something that will say like, hey, this book is mine. This book is, when I open up this book, it's not like close this book, don't touch it. You want to make them want to keep using it and flipping through it and coloring or filling out details or tracking stuff. It just kind of depends on.
Like for example, I mean, like if you're doing a something related to children, right? They want to feel that personal connection. But if you're doing something related to adults and maybe it's like, a password book or something maybe a little bit more sensitive, maybe your intro page would include, or how about this? What if you're doing like a mileage log tracker for your car? Okay, tax season just passed. What if you lose that? So maybe your intro page should be your name, your phone number, email, and like a return address, right? Something like that. So like it needs to relate to what you're selling. It's not always going to be a page that this book belongs to. Some people don't care. But if it's something that maybe like a return address or a kid's book, those are going to differ. And in some cases, like the coloring book we were just looking at, the intro page is actually like 2 paragraphs.
Yes. So I'm going to show you guys Google Slides here first. So let's go ahead and open up Google Slides here. I will start sharing my screen with you. All right. So we
asked the question. I didn't understand it, but he says, "Is that set for inside, outside margins also?"
Which part, Corey? Which part? So why he replies back to that. So the first thing I do when I open up Google Slides, and I understand Google Slides is not the best. PowerPoint, is not the best. Can you make it work? Yes. InDesign might be way too complex for people. You might not like BookBolt. You might not like Photoshop, but you have to find one that works for you, or you have to outsource or buy interiors from somewhere. So, there's better options than PowerPoint. There's better options for this, but it's all up to you. It's all up to personal preference. I like to use Google Slides. It's easy. It's cheap. It's free. Anyone can use it. You can open it up from any computer anywhere in the world as long as you log in. So first thing you have to do is file and then page setup here. Change this from widescreen to custom, and then you can actually enter your page size here. So you could do a 6x9, you could do an 8.5x11, whatever it might be. So we'll do an 8.5x11 here. So we have a lot of room to work with. And then from here, it's just going to kind of be, what do I want to put on here? Okay. What is it that I'm looking for? So we're going to do like a mileage log here, just something totally random, pretty easy, but then you guys can all see, how does this actually work? So let's go ahead. Let's kind of create a cover page here. So first thing I am going to do is I'm just going to throw out some lines on here. So about like so. I'm going to copy and paste these 4 down into a nice little line here. And I know these aren't even yet, but I'll get them even. So we'll center them up. So now all 4 of these lines are connected at once. We could make these, bigger and wider if we wanted. We could make these bold if we wanted. Whatever it might be, we can do here. So let's just go ahead and kind of set them about right here. So then actually I want to make these a little bit thicker. They're a little too thin for my liking here. So we're going to change this to 2. And then we'll actually might go 3. I'm going to do a dark gray number 3 here. And let's see what 3 pixels looks like. So that's going to be a little too bold for me. We'll go back down to 2. And then at this point, I would use my text box here. And I would draw me a text box on here. And we could do something like name. And then I'll always come back and customize after everything's set in place so you can see what's going on here. So we'll just use base level here. So name, we could do something like phone number. Send this box out. So we have our phone number on here now. Let's move it into place. So something like that. And then let's see, let's do another text box. We could do something like email. And then let's see, what else can we do here? Address. Okay, so we'll put address on here as well. So address, that is now on there as well. So we're all good there. You could put, whatever you wanted at the top. Again, we'll come back and customize this once it is all kind of laid out. So we could do mileage log, make this, we'll leave that there for now. We can come back and customize. And then let's go ahead and do a new slide. And you'll see how much this changes from start to finish once I actually start changing fonts and everything. So now once we get in here, I'm not going to actually do anything on this back page. If I wanted to do something, it would probably, because this is the back page when they first open this up. So they open it up, they will see this page first. The back side of that page would be this one. If I wanted to, this is where I would put my copyright 2020, blah-de-da-de-da. And I would put this down here, just small and at the bottom. And this is where it would go. Okay, so this one would just go here. And that's probably all I would put on this back page for this. And then another new page. Now, this is where your book would actually begin. Okay, so this is where your book would actually begin. Do we have any questions or comments?
No.
Nope. Okay, just making sure I don't have the stream up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to...
Well, actually, there's a question is this full bleed?
No, because full bleed, you'll have to add 1.25 and 2.50 onto your margins. So no, this is not. So that's why I am not going super close to the edges here, Steve. I think that's who asked, right? So keep moving on here. Let's go ahead. We're going to put some text at the top. And so we'll do some text up here. We'll just do mileage log. And we'll go ahead and center this just so I have a good point. And then we'll come back and customize as well here. Now, I'm going to bring that down a little. There we go. So now I'm going to insert a table here. I'm probably going to make it 5 across and probably as long down as I can. So 5 by 20 here. And you can kind of see how this starts to play out. So we need to have all of these different areas custom. So let's see here. We're going to change this one to date. And remember, this is going to be a 8.5 by 11. So these boxes here would be very wide. So, date and time do not need to be very big. I hope someone's not writing out, September 13th. 2020 in one of these boxes. That would be a lot of characters. Odometer.
Jacob, because we touched on it, Mickey is asking, what is bleed or what is full bleed?
You want to describe that? Why I keep designing here?
That's exactly what I'm doing over here. Essentially, bleed is going to be hold on, where's the string? Bleed is basically going to be if the design goes all the way to the edge or not. Right? Like I always select bleed. What do you guys do?
So this would be bleed here. If this went to here, actually, if it went to like right here, you would have to select bleed because it's within that margin. Maybe a little bit closer to the left-hand side. But then if you want to, let's say you have a line notebook here. We can do that real quick. So let's say you want to create a line notebook. Okay. And let's just actually open up a new slide here. So let's say you want to create a line notebook, okay, and you want the lines to go all the way across the page. So something you can do in Google Slides is to actually just insert a table, make it, it doesn't necessarily one across and then 20 down, okay, and then you could just go boom, boom. So now this looks really weird. This would be bleed because it extends past the edge of the page. But when you download this, okay, we'll just download it as a PNG. You can see those lines go all the way across here. Okay, so those lines now go all the way across. This would be a bleed interior. Okay.
And I agree with you, Neil. I always do bleed.
So now we have our table set up here. Again, this is very, very basic. We could add in some different things. We could add in like, we could make this actually shorter here, and we could add in your year, make, and model. You could also add that in on here. What car or cars are you planning to do, use this mileage for? I would probably only do 1 mileage log per car. Otherwise, you're going to get very confused. So we could add in a box up here, make it a little bit more custom, and say, what year, date, and model. So we could do something as simple as year, make, model. Okay, and then that way the person knows, okay, this is what we're doing. Again, this is very basic looking for now. And I'm also going to change the color of this box to dark gray 3 so it matches. And I'm going to increase that to 2. Okay, so the pixel, how thick the lines are to 2. So now let's go ahead and go pick our theme here. So we'll center this up. Go ahead. I don't have a ton of fonts or anything, special installed here. So we'll just kind of work with what we have. We want something clean, nothing too crazy. So something maybe even like this. We'll bump up our size here. So let's go something like 40. So now that's going to be nice and big. I'm going to change this color to that dark gray 3. Oh, not that one. The dark gray 3 as well. So now that is going to match. And then what we're going to do here is change the name to the same font. I believe we did light. Yes, so light, Oswald, light as well. Change these as well to Oswald light. So now all of those are good there. And then we need to change this font size as well. Just make it a little bit bigger so you can see everything on here a little bit better.
Do you account for the gutter on the inside edges?
Not really. I try to, if I know I'm doing something like this, I honestly try to, dang it, why is it doing this? I try to stay away from the edges unless I know I'm going to pick bleed. Which most times I will just go ahead and add bleed on just to make it a lot easier. So now we have our nice looking, very basic here. We could add in an easy vector if we wanted. We could easily go to something like Create a Fabrica and do, we could type in car and probably find us a nice little simple car vector here. We could grab one of these little cars here, throw it on there. Let's actually find a decent looking car here. Also, don't do cars like this is clearly a BMW. Don't do cars that you can actually what they are. I try to keep all of my cars and trucks very generic. That way we're not having any issues. So I would change this. Let's see. See here. One moment.
Standing by to stand by.
I have to remember what the alt code is for the copyright symbol if you wanted to throw that in there. It's alt 0169. So if your book is copyrighted, 0169 while holding down alt, we'll throw that in there if that's what you choose to do. So I would do something like copyright 2020. I would put my author name here. So we'll just put, Jacob Bates, all rights reserved. I would spread out this box a little so it all fits onto one line. And then down below it, you could put no part.
Now, guys, don't go putting this on something that's just blank lines.
Yes.
Like I've seen people that throw up a journal, right? And all it is blank lines that 10,000 other people have used, and then they go around and they're like, "Well, this is my blank line interior, so you can't use blank lines," and it's so ridiculous. Please don't be that person.
No, I usually only add something like this in if it's like a very in-depth coloring book, and I have like a lead page on it or something as well. So
I honestly have never put one in just because I figured there's not anyone that's going to take it to use it.
you'd be surprised. So you could put something like this in here if you wanted to make sure, again, you change your font to match the rest of the book. So you could put something like this in there again. But yes, don't go create your line interior book and say, hey, I'm going to throw this in there. And anyone who uses my lines, I'm taking them down. Okay, so now let's go in here. Let's go ahead and keep changing our fonts around to match the rest of the book. So we could say mileage log. We can make this a little bit bigger here. And then we'll select these boxes here. And I actually want to center these up. I think they look better when they are centered. Oswald. Oh, we need to do Oswald light. And then we can actually increase our text size here as well a little bit. And we could possibly, no, do not want to do bold. So we now have that done. Year, make, and model. I'm actually not liking how this looks right here. So let's go ahead. Let's see how this will look down here. Again, we might be getting a little too close to the bottom here, which is okay. Year, make, model. So we could put something like that on there, change it to Oswald light. Okay, we'd have to increase the size a little bit so people can actually see what it is. And then let's see, we will also, we'll do left-hand alignment here. We'll scoot this over to line up here. Okay, and then now all I would do is I would actually probably increase the sizing a little bit more. Change the spacing a little bit so there's a little bit more room there to actually write. So now we have this. I would throw in a few lines. So something like we'll go halfway across. So there's that one. Another line here.
You could just copy and paste that one.
I know, but I want them all to be the same line.
I got you.
There we go. And then we can also copy and paste it again. We'll listen to Neil today. My brain is a little shot. And then even if we wanted to, we could add in, a little note section on the other side here. So it would be very, very small. Remember, this is an 8.5 by 11 book, though. So we could say notes if we really wanted to here, just to fill up that voided area. So notes, same font again here. So the light, increase our font size here. We could line this up, put it up in here, and then we could throw, a box around this or whatever it might be. So a shape, let's throw a box around this, line it all up. We do not want this to be, we want this to be a transparent box. We want to then, I'm trying to think here. So we could line this up right here, and then we could bring this guy right into here as well. So now, scoot them up a little. Now they also have a nice little notes box that they can work out of. Okay, so let's say at this point you are now happy with how this is looking. What you can do is simply just copy and paste this. So I'm going to hit Control-C on a PC. It would be Command-C on a Mac. This page is selected. And then if I hit Control-V, it'll just paste this page. Okay, so we'll just do a short little one here. We'll do like 48 pages or so, something short. And then at this point, you are now going to be, done with your interior. So file, download as a PDF. We will save this. And then as soon as it's done downloading here, we will open it. Wow. Okay, there we go. So we have this open, and you can see it's still very, very basic. I could spend, also, that's very weird. This year is showing up like it is above this chart. Interesting. Very, very interesting. But you can see it's a very, very basic interior, but it's the start. Okay, so this is Google Slides. Neil, what have you been working on over there?
So I want to talk about cover pages. I mentioned in a blog post a while ago, not sure which one, about like actually using your front pages, not covers. I guess I misspoke. Your front pages, like your beginning pages, instead of just having like this book belongs to. If you guys are doing books, especially if you're putting them and building an actual brand, using that as a marketing tool is crucial. So let me go ahead, move some stuff around. I'm going to share my screen. Share screen. Okay, share screen. Share this one. Okay. This is the inside of BookBolt. You just come up here to product and you can change it to interior. This I made in literally like 10 seconds while Jacob was talking. So please don't think that this is, its final form. But this is going to be the front page of a book, okay? If you've done any research on Amazon, you've noticed that a lot of the huge sellers, I'm talking about the ones that have like 4,000 reviews and sell like 10,000 plus copies a month, they typically are either part of a series or they're part of a brand, like an actual brand, not a made-up brand, but something that, someone is making a bunch of series. I know a few days ago we looked at, what were they, cursive writing, like books for kids, right? So think of a brand for teacher resources. You could do one for math, you could do one for learning cursive, you could do one for phonics, anything related to a brand. You could do one for coloring books, right? If you did something like a whale coloring book and a rainforest coloring book and an ocean coloring book, they're all coloring books under your same style and brand. Using that front page to actually create a marketing funnel is going to drastically help you. So basically the way, this is just a layout that I want to show you is the way I actually lay out my real ones, is I basically say like, hey, X is available now, right? Where X, so you might say, if this was a coloring book, whale coloring available now, something like that, right? This right here, this blank spot is typically where I would put an image of the actual coloring book or of the actual book or interior, something of not the book that you're selling, but something else within the same brand. Okay, so if you're selling a notebook for anxiety, maybe you have another book in the anxiety niche for, yoga or something like that. Hey, you have a book available. It's under your same brand. You want to promote that. An image here, maybe of the interior, maybe of the book, just really depends on what you're looking for. Okay, then you need to actually market to these people. It's all great and good to put stuff on Amazon and expect them to sell, but once you actually get sales on a book, okay, they're going to receive that book. They're going to click that look inside button, and they're going to look at it, and this is where you can actually, like, Amazon's okay with this. You can actually sell customers, the ones who actually paid you. You're getting a royalty from these people. They are receiving your product. You can continue selling them on more books that you have in your KDP account. It doesn't require you running any ads. It literally just requires you to update your cover, or not cover, your front page here. So, for example, if you were doing this was maybe a cursive book and now you're doing a math book, like, put some marketing material in here. I just said get ahead of math, a few bullet points of what this book offers, blah, 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 marketing. Okay, so on and so forth. I put a website down here, all right? Very important. If you guys are building a KDP business, okay, you've been doing this for a little while. If you're just getting started, I would highly recommend building actual brands, okay? Put your website in here. They're going to see it. They're going to see it, and QR codes are a big one. I don't personally use QR codes, but I know a ton of people do. So the way I do this is, let's just say that this right here is your book. Okay, you have a book published. It's up on Amazon, and this is going to be our example interior template here. What we want to do is create a QR code for people who buy this book. They're going to buy the first book in maybe a series, buy the first coloring book, so on and so forth. You want to create a QR code for your brand. So it's really, really, really easy to do. All right, I'm going to link this in chat. Give me 1 second. This is literally a free QR code generator. So what we're going to do is on Amazon, pretend this is your book. It's not. We're going to click on the brand. We're going to visit this brand page. So this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? They have, this is what, cursive handwriting workbook for kids, jokes and riddles, beginning cursive, first 500 words, silly rhymes. These are all part of the same brand, okay? So what they would do is they take this URL here, the URL of the brand page, not the specific book, and they would go over to this. I just linked it. It's called qrcode-monkey.com. All right, and I have something else in here, so let's just remove it. Just refresh this page so you guys can see what it looks like. All you do is literally enter in the URL here. All right, you'll come over here. You'll make it probably a little bit smaller, and you will create the QR code. And then this QR code right here, you will either download it as a PNG, an SVG, a PDF, whatever you're doing. I just downloaded it as a PNG. So let me just get rid of this. I'll show you an example. If you're using the BookBolt Designer, you'll come over here to Images. All right, you will, let me get rid of this. You'll just drag and drop it in here. Okay, so it's uploaded. You'll click it, and you'll go, okay, it's got a white background on it. So we'll go ahead and we'll just make it small, make it look good. Okay, now this isn't, this right here, it was done in 10 seconds. Okay, I would actually make a proper looking interior page here. But what you do is you place it there. It's still got that white background on it. You want it to be transparent. You want it to actually match up. So all you do, if you're doing it inside of the BookBolt Designer, I don't know how to do this. If you can do it actually directly from Google Sheets or Slides rather. But if you're doing it inside of BookBolt, all you do is you come up to this, select the layer. Okay, so click the layer. You'll come up to this little thing that looks like a science beaker. Remove background. It's already on a light background, and you'll just move this ticker up to like 1 or 3. And there you go. It has removed the background. It's the same exact background back. And then you would download this and add this to your cover. But the point I want to get across here is that you can use the books that you're selling, right, that you're putting up on Amazon. You're using Amazon as a sales channel. You can use those to sell even more of your books in the same niche by all you're doing is creating something like this. It's just a little bit of marketing, right? It's not a, how do I put this? It's not like a place for them to write their name. You could do one page for that, and then the second page could be this, where, hey, guys, like this is a rainforest coloring book. If you really enjoyed it, guess what just came out? This deep sea fishing coloring book. Okay, and this deep sea fishing coloring book includes 10 whales and 5 dolphins and blah, 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 right? Like marketing. And by the way, here's my website that you can go buy it on, okay, which the website could literally just link back to Amazon. And here's a huge QR code for you to find that product. So it's going to your brand and they're not going to Amazon and they're not typing in, whale coloring book and clicking on the first result. And all of a sudden you've lost that sale. You're directing them to your products.
Something I will say is for a long time, I don't think QR codes caught on like people were hoping. Yeah. They really didn't. Like it used to be you had to have a QR scanner on your phone. You had to have like an app or something. But now you can just open up your camera, point at it, and it'll open it up. And I think actually one of the good things, if you've been out to eat since the whole pandemic thing, a lot of places aren't giving out aren't giving out menus, at least here. And they'll have like QR codes that you walk up, you scan, and then the menu opens on your phone. I think it's gotten a lot of people to the point of, okay, this is how a QR code works and this is how easy it is. But you could also have a website there. You don't have to have a QR code or, you don't have to have something insane, but it is a way to kind of link that around. And, you can offer some bonuses. If you have a coloring book, I don't know where my example one is here. But you could have a coloring book and have thing in there. Hey, if you go here, if you go to this website, scan this QR code, whatever it might be, scan this, get 5 more coloring pages at no charge. You're then going to start collecting emails, which is a whole nother topic that Neil and I could ramble on for a couple hours.
But this is literally the start of that, though, right?
Yeah.
Like I think I mentioned that in the blog post that I did, and that's where people started asking questions. It's because of those QR codes. I mean, think of if you have one book, right? Like I keep talking about producing quality books and not just a mass quantity. Like obviously, if you can do both, that's going to lead to the most money. But if you have one book, just one book that takes off. Say, for example, Jacob and I did a live after yesterday talking about dot-to-dot books. If you did one dot-to-dot book and it took off, and you get, within the first year, you have a couple hundred reviews, you've done thousands of sales, and those thousands of people that bought your book are now aware of, I really enjoyed this dot-to-dot city book. I think that I would like, landmarks of the U.S. Well, now they're reminded of that every single time they open up their book, because it tells you on the first page, like, go buy this one. It's just like constant marketing.
I'm going to share
the question here, and I think it's been answered. But yes, Amazon will give you your ISBN and put it in the corner for you. Neil, something you touched on, I want to make sure people don't get confused, or will you explain how you do it? Instead of a website, you said you could link back to Amazon. Would you just use the actual Amazon web address?
Yeah. So all you do is, let's say you have a book up, okay? All you do is you click on your brand name, which would open up the brand page, and you just copy that URL and put it into a generator for your QR codes. Now, for example, if you have your own website, okay, you could put up your picture of your book, and you could say, like, buy it now, and then the buy it now button would link directly to your book on Amazon. So there's a lot of ways that you can do it, but I'm telling you guys, marketing through Amazon inside of your books is like the easiest thing that you can do that leads to more sales, as long as you're making sales in the first place, right? Like what I'm telling you, if you put up a book that never sells ever, then what I just told you is kind of worthless. But if you guys have made sales before, then those sales will turn into more sales, because it just keeps kind of snowballing down.
So Marie has something here. I just downloaded a KDP template. I'm going to share my screen here. So when you go ahead and if you download this template, which I linked yesterday, you can see here's the barcode location. So that is automatic. So don't put anything in this corner, because they will cover it with the barcode. Okay. You don't have to do anything special here. Just note this little corner here is where your barcode is going to go when you design. Okay. So obviously this is the back side of the cover. So I don't really know what you would be putting on the spine side of the back bottom right-hand side corner. But that is where your barcode goes. Okay.
Cover that on a different day.
What are your opinions on creating versus getting some books up with pre-made stuff first and then creating? Or what are your guys' thought process on that? Because I've been asked that a lot.
Understand first off, I know there's a note on our 14-day homework guide here. First off, understand your rights and usage. Okay. If you're getting interiors from somewhere, understand your rights and usage, like what you're allowed to do with them, what you're not allowed to do with them. For example, you go to BookBolt, they have interiors on there. You can use those on KDP. Do not go and list those on Etsy. Okay. Like Neil has found people to do.
Yep.
If you go to something like the Page Planet and you get interiors, you can basically do whatever you want with those, as long as you can list them on KDP as directly as they are. But if you want to sell them on Etsy, you can. You just need to make some type of change to them first. You can't sell them as is on Etsy or anything. So there's a lot of different places. There's places I've gone on Etsy and I've grabbed interiors before for KDP. It depends what I'm looking for and what VAs are doing. And, it just kind of depends. I don't have a preference. I think everyone should learn how to make an interior and understand an interior. That way they can change and customize it to how they want. But
my opinion on the matter is that I think getting started is the most important part, which is why us three are here in the first place. Like, we want to help you guys get up and running. So my take on it is take advantage of the free interiors from BookBolt and the Page Planet and just get some books up first, right? Learn the process of getting books up. You're probably not going to, sell 1,000 tomorrow doing that, but it's going to help you with the process and figure out, this is how you list a book, so on and so forth. And once you've done that, once you've learned how to optimize keywords and do the research, the stuff we've been going over, then I would suggest, playing around and trying to create your own. That's kind of the way that I did it in the first place. I wanted to prove that it worked, and the easiest way to prove that it works is to get books on Amazon. So,
yeah.
I agree with you. And what I would rather do is let someone else deal with a VA versus me have to deal with a VA. Although for most people, it is me dealing with them for you. I'd rather, on a personal level, I'd rather have someone else deal with the VA versus me having to train them and teach them and QA them, make sure that it's all good. I'd rather just get a finished product and then change it to my liking. I mean, we saw how long it took Jacob to make that interior just a moment ago. Think how many more minutes you could have used to research what really matters for you, specifically being keywords and niches and categories. Spend your time wisely on what matters now and let someone else do the things that you don't need to.
Yeah. I see a good question here asking about things you can and can't change once you've uploaded to KDP. So Steve is correct. You can't change the title or the subtitle or the author. But yes, you can change the interior. Keep in mind, though, not a good idea to change the interior if you're making big changes, right? So don't go from a lined interior to a coloring book. That makes literally zero sense.
Because you're not going to be able to change your title or subtitle.
Right. It's a different book. But let's just say, hey, oh, man, you found a spelling mistake on your intro page. Yes, of course you can change that and put it through, and it'll go live. So, yes, you can change that stuff on KDP. Sometimes it's a good idea. I don't really do that often. I will only do that if I've made a spelling mistake or if a book has taken off and I didn't add the intro marketing page that I was talking about. I might go and add that, but it's very rare that I'll go and change anything on a book once it's live.
Very rare. Let's see here. Also, Page Planet, there's a free interior on there. BookBolt has some free interiors on it. I think another big thing is if you're just getting started with this, you're going to overanalyze everything. So having an interior that you can just use to, the ones that he can, or whoever it is, can just use, download, and upload to learn and understand the process, I think helps a lot. So you're not sitting there for 2.5 weeks trying to figure out how to make an interior and will this work? Will it pass review? What can I do? What can't I do? I think it's good to just start. Have you tried trying?
A question that I've been asked is this is not a plug. I want you to make sure that this is all still free. But if you were a member of the Page Planet, the 6 interiors you get a month are unique and no one else will be getting them. So right now, those that went out in July, only they will have that.
Yep. So each month, they won't go on to, not each person's are unique, okay? But each month is unique and they won't go onto the website after. That's only the people that are subscribed get them every month. And they're not going to re-release again or anything. So we're making sure they're unique. And if a ton of people join, then we'll add more than 6 interiors. So then we want to keep a real good balance of, how many people are using each interior. So the more that subscribe, the more interiors that come out. So,
hey, Jacob, I see a question here asking about author pages. I'm going to share my screen real quick. If you can throw it up, give me 1 second. Share screen. This one, share. Okay. You guys see that? Oh my gosh, there we go. Okay, you guys should be able to see that. So let's just say you're on Amazon. It doesn't need to specifically be an author page. So let's just go up here and type in coloring book. Let's pick the first one we see here, sponsored. Actually, probably shouldn't have clicked that. I probably had them spend some money. So for example, Bedtime Press has not actually set up an author page. So in this case, all their author pages is what books are under this author on Amazon. It's not the fancy author page that I showed you guys before. So all you would do in this case is you go to your author page, which is probably going to look like this. Okay, it's going to have a few books under the same author. Come up to the top, copy and paste that entire URL, and then go to a QR code generator. In this case, I'm using this one, so I just paste that in there, and I would just create it, and there we go, and download it. So it doesn't need, so all you have to do using this QR code generator is enter any URL. Like if I wanted to, I could have this URL go to Amazon.com. Okay, so I could literally put this in here like that, and this QR code would go to Amazon.com. So it's any URL that you want, but all I'm saying is find a book of yours on Amazon that you want to link to the brand, right? So you'd click on this, and you'd click on this brand, and this one does have an author page. Okay, you probably don't have one of these set up yet, and yours is going to look like the other one we just looked at. But all you're doing is whatever URL you have available, you're copying that, and that's how you're creating the QR code.
Corey said, type in an author's name where you wouldn't be, you'd get multiple results that aren't yours. Yeah, that one I wouldn't link.
Yeah, exactly.
At that point.
It really just depends on what you've set up and what you're marketing. Like if you wanted to go to a specific book, you can do that too. It doesn't have to be your author page.
It can be any web address.
Yeah, any web address. If you're building a brand, though, I would suggest it be the author page, because they might go, if you have a whale coloring book, okay, and you've just released a deep sea fishing coloring book, but you also have one about dolphins, well, they might go to that brand and go, yeah, I don't know about the deep sea one, but I love the dolphin one, and end up buying from you anyways. So it just really depends on kind of what you're trying to set up.
Let me also say, since I've designed our websites, you can really get into a simple website and have multiple websites for $5 a month. I mean, it's really inexpensive, and it can be really easy to make. And if you can't make them, again, find a VA that will do it for you. But once it's there, it's inexpensive and it's easy to maintain.
Yep, you could even get a really cheap like landing page thing where they handle all the hosting. You go on there, you throw an image, you throw a button on that says purchase now, and it links it to Amazon. There's a lot of different ways to do this. You could showcase a lot of your different products on something like that. But I don't think we necessarily have any other relevant questions for today that I'm seeing here. Some of the questions we saw, we did kind of skip over. We're trying to keep all of the questions that we answer related to today's topic, so whatever the topic of the day is. Also, remember, on day 14, it's an open-ended Q&A. We might push that back to like an evening stream or something, just so more people can get on. But the last day is a Q&A where we'll answer any question we can, compared to today or the following days after this, of trying to keep it on topic.
So if you have questions, write them down. We probably have missed quite a few. Just going to be completely honest, all right? We're all human. But if you have questions, we will get to them. And if we don't on the last day, bring them, and we'd be happy to answer them.
All righty. So we are going to end this live off here. Like I said, post them in the group if you have questions that you're just dying to get answered, or save them for day 14 if it's not related to today's topic. No, like keywords and ads and all of those good things are still coming for the future here. So with that being said, no, 1 second here. Margaret said, so it's Monday for day 6. We're going through the weekend, aren't we?
Yes.
I guess so.
All right.
I was gonna ask you that. Why don't we throw up a poll in the group or something?
Okay.
We want to make sure people are here. We're flexible, guys. Like,
yeah,
we can
do this weekend, or you can have the weekend off. Does not matter.
All right. We'll throw that up in the group, and we'll see. But yes, we'll catch you tomorrow or Monday.
All right.
Have a good one, guys.